Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Talk Bridal to Me. I am Anna Muma here with Desiree. She is representing Commellini Estate today. She's had 14 years with the estate and has been a part of 200 weddings, which is phenomenal. Welcome, Desiree.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I had the privilege of coming to Commellini. Gosh, it's been a couple weeks already, and just seeing the estate. And the day that I came was drizzly and kind of like gross outside, but still it was so beautiful. Tell us a little bit about why Commellini is different than other wedding venues in the area.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe talking about the origins a little bit. So
Yeah.
Albert and Lita Commellini, who are my great-great-aunt and uncle, were the ones who originally started the estate back in 1941, and it was intended to be their residence, and there's about 300 acres on the property, but they found it actually during Albert's time running moonshine and bootlegging up through Canada. He used to stop and get a drink at the creek and was just so impressed with the landscape of the property that's where he decided he'd like to reside. And from there, I guess Lita Commellini was such an amazing chef that she turned it into a restaurant. I actually never lived both within the residence itself. And we turned it into primarily a venue back in 2009, and it's been operating it that way ever since.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know when you had originally told me about them bootlegging moonshine, it was just so comical.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it struck me as so funny. It was just like, of course now it's a wedding venue. Like, it started with this man who was like, let's just do this. This sounds like a great idea. And now it's a professional space, which is amazing. Tell us a little bit about how you started working at Commellini.
Yeah, so I more or less grew up actually at the estate, and it's always been a part of our family's history and legacy. When I was in college, I was going for a business degree, and all of my projects were always ran or done on different business plans about how Commellini's could kind of be rejuvenated and brought back into the hands of the family operation. So that's kind of where my dream was always. And then the stars aligned when I graduated, and my both of my parents were interested in doing the same thing.
Yeah. So. And remind me, did you grow up in this area?
I did, yes.
Okay, so was it kind of your goal to always come back to Commellini then?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about it in the 4th grade with my parents, and so yeah, it was always a dream, not necessarily a straight line to get there, but always something I'd hoped to do.
Yes. So. Do you have any other family members that are working with the estate still, or are you kind of the only one?
I'm the primary one. I have an older sister and a younger brother, and they are both incredibly helpful to bounce ideas off of. My brother, when we first started, used to bartend and serve while he was going to Gonzaga, and we employed a lot of his friends throughout the years too. So I was there certainly vital, but not in the day-to-day.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and it's just such a neat space, and knowing the family history, because a lot of times you can go to a wedding venue and sometimes it was an old farm, which is neat and has its own history. But the rich history of Commellini is kind of what strikes me.
Yeah, it is a unique one, both with the Prohibition and Lita Commellini's legacy with her food and having had the opportunity to serve many famous people from Joe DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe, back in that era. She really was well known for her food. So then we had the chicken ranch at the estate, and it kind of evolved into multiple different iterations throughout the years. So, yeah.
Do you feel like that draws a lot of brides, or do they prefer to see the grounds, or is it kind of a mix of both?
I think it's a mix. I think we have a lot of couples who are really interested in the history and the underground tunnels, and there's kind of that fun allure to that. But I think that primarily it's the aesthetic, both of the historical building and then just the beautiful grounds.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the grounds. I know there are several different areas where brides can get married. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 6 different locations, 6 different spaces on location.
Yeah.
So,
that's so neat. Yeah. And but then you offer services for locations for brides to get ready.
Correct.
You have a groom's cottage as well?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
We have the two bridal getting ready rooms.
Yes. Yeah. And then talk to us a little bit about what you offer brides, or I should say couples.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
We try to be, I think our origins, when we were designing our packages, gosh, 15 years ago, it
Mm,
was really trying to have it be a really all-inclusive experience where we're taking off the stress. You really can just show up and have everything,
mhm,
done for you. So our packages include the tables, the chairs, the linens, your centerpieces, and we have a huge decor catalog to choose from. It includes the day of coordinator and a coordinator throughout the planning process, which has been a huge asset for our couples
mm.
and to help guide them into what vendors to use and kind of again building out their design.
Yes.
So,
Well, and you have such authenticity with your service, and I know that's a huge passion for you.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that and kind of what that means to you.
I think that every couple who we speak with have such unique stories and backgrounds, and weddings have such a traditional aspect to them. But in this day and age, that can be shown in so many different ways, where people can
Mhm.
really stay strict to the book and have a very traditional wedding, but also so many more things are fair game and interesting ways to show. Um, their love and incorporate that in the actual ceremony or the party
Mhm.
portion. So for us, it's really figuring out what the couple wants and
Mhm.
sitting down and designing what they want. So we have all of these amenities, and I would say most of our couples choose to utilize most of them. But again, each couple is unique, so each package and each wedding is unique. So
Mhm. Well, and I'm sure you've seen some fun things over the years.
absolutely.
Tell us some of those stories.
Oh gosh, there's so many. I think most recently, there's a German tradition where you cut a log in the middle of your
Oh,
ceremony,
really?
and it's this really long saw that they're in their beautiful outfits and gowns, and they're sawing away at a tree trunk. And I remember we had to actually get like special approval from our insurance company to have the saw on the property. And anyway, it was a beautiful and very unique way to
Oh
to
my
to do that. So that was
goodness.
just, our more recent one, but we've had mariachi bands, we've had acrobats, we've had the live painting is really fun
Yes.
recently. So
Oh
yeah,
my goodness, log cutting.
yeah,
I have never heard of that
yeah, yeah.
one.
I'll have to show you photos. That it was really
I
a
know.
neat, a really unique experience. So
Absolutely. Well, and
yeah,
I've heard of other people doing, you hear the Jewish traditions, stomping on the glass and
hmm
different things like that. And I have the privilege of doing makeup for a wedding this summer, and they are very um, like Filipino. And so they
hmm
have different things that they're doing there. And she has a couple different dresses and different gowns and
yes.
outfits and attire. And we're doing a hair and makeup change and all these things where I'm like, this is so fun.
Yeah.
And it really gives you a glimpse into different people's personalities and their background.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I
Yeah.
think that part is, I mean, again, I've been doing this for 15,
Yeah.
years, and each season, each wedding is still so different and unique,
Yes.
you can never get tired of it.
Oh,
So,
yeah. There's
so
something for everybody.
yes.
Yes. And I know you have some packages that can be on the lower price end, more luxury style packages. Talk to us a little bit about kind of what that entails.
Absolutely. So I would say most of our clients are more on the luxury end,
Mhm.
wanting more of that all-inclusive experience. Again, we do all of the on-site food and beverage as well, and can
Mhm.
customize the menus and even the cocktail selections for our couples. So again, there's an immense amount of personalization, so that you can truly show up and have everything taken care of, and you just get to enjoy the day. We also have some more, I guess, elopement style or do-it-yourself
Mhm.
packages available too for the couples who are looking for that experience too.
Yes.
So
That
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
It's so nice when you can go to a venue and say, "I could get married here." Even if you're on a lower end of a budget, to be
right.
able to have that flexibility, is really special.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. I would love to do kind of a frequently asked questions because
Sure.
I know you probably get the same types of questions all the time, and it's nice to have one place where they're all answered.
Sure.
So if that's okay, we'll
Yeah,
kind of go through
certainly.
those.
Yeah.
Perfect. Tell us a little bit about parking amenities.
Yeah, so we have 300 acres, so we have a ton of space and so parking is not an issue. All free on-site parking. We have 80 spaces just across the street, which usually can be enough depending on the party
Mhm.
size. But for our weddings that are more in the 300 person guest count, we use another portion of the estate. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Venue capacity.
300 is the
Okay.
max, yeah.
Yeah.
For inside the historic venue, it's closer to 120 to 150, depending on how large of a dance floor you want.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah.
Are there different capacities for various ceremony sizes? Like if you have a a group of 300 that are going to be coming to your wedding? Are there places where it's like, well, you can't get married in this space?
Correct. Yep. So we have the 6 on-site locations, and that so one, for example, is our creekside ceremony area, and it has like the creek that runs the entire length of that grassy space, and we can fit 180 seats there. So if you're wanting, you're closer to a 300 person size event, then the pond side is where it would be the best fit.
That makes sense.
So each individual space on the property has its own maximum.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
My husband and I got married at a family friend's property, and we had 400.
Wow.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
But my husband and I grew up, since we were both very young, up in Colville, which is, just about an hour north of here. And he knew so many people because he had moved there when he was a baby. And so I still remember like sitting at the library in his car, and we literally just kept invitations to our wedding with us because we would always forget to mail them out to people. We're like, oh, we forgot about our friend's uncle's dad who, like we went to his lake cabin when we were little and things like that. And so I remember him like grabbing an invitation out of the glove box and like chasing down his friend's dad, 2 blocks that way. He's like, oh, there he is. I forgot. But side tangent.
But no, it's so
Some
interesting.
people have so many people, and
Yes.
then I have brides that are like, we're having a group of just 15 of our family. Great.
Yep. Yeah, again, it's each their own. I think that when my husband and I were planning our wedding, I had hoped to have, like a 75 person wedding, but coming from 2 Italian families, that wasn't even half of our family. So our glass
that was like siblings, parents, and nieces and nephews.
Exactly. So yeah, ours grew quite a bit too.
Yeah.
So.
And I hear that often with brides. They'll be like, oh, we just wanted like 50 people. And then we counted up all of our family and we realized, oh no.
Can't be done.
Can't be done. Yeah. If you want everybody there, and then you have to try and figure out who's not coming.
Yeah.
And that's not a fun conversation.
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Next frequently asked question. I know you have bridal suites for getting ready, but tell us a little bit about the size.
Yeah. Gosh, I should know the square footage offhand. The primary bridal suite is a suite with a bathroom. And so it has a closet, has about seating and 6 kind of comfy leather chairs. And then we have that typically is used for our brides, as it has a little bit more of a vanity, kind of a prep, makeup prep area. And then the other getting ready room we call the La Capana, and that's much larger, but doesn't have the associated bathroom. So they would just use the one in the building right next to it.
That makes sense. And it's all temperature controlled.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
I went to one wedding and I was like, the venue was beautiful, but the bridal getting ready area was not temperature controlled. And when we arrived at the venue, it was like 75 and sunny. It was gorgeous, but then the temperature dropped to like 55, 60. The wind started ripping through. The bees were like coming in. And I remember spraying setting spray and it just went, I'm like, well, we're going to have to go downwind if we're going to finish this makeup application. So now I have a thing in my contract, like must be temperature controlled. And when it's 100 degrees.
It's so true. I think that when we did the big remodel in 2009 on the main venue, it's wonderful to have a historic building, but you want it historic with all the modern amenities.
Yes, you do. Running water, please.
Yes.
And a heater.
Yes, an AC that works well.
An AC, yes.
Absolutely.
That makes total sense. Perfect. What is my next question here? Cutoff time for events. Like, are there times where the bridal party can and cannot arrive, and how late it has to go?
No.
Okay.
So because we own so much land around the area, and we don't have like a strict 10 p.m. cutoff time, it can start and end when anyone would like it to. Most of our packages include 8 to 10 hours, kind of depending on which ones are selected, but they can always add additional time too. We just have the legal obligation to stop selling alcohol at 2 a.m. So, but most weddings don't last quite that long. So
everyone's like, we're done.
We're ready. So
I know there's some issues sometimes, like if you have a wedding on a Friday and then a wedding on a Saturday. How does that work when someone's trying to do their rehearsal dinner, etc.?
Yeah, so we for the ceremony rehearsal, we always can find a time to accommodate that. Most often, it works best for everyone to have it be the day beforehand. A lot of times, people will have all of their guests in town early and want to do it on 2 days before, like the Thursday night. But they always have the option to do it the day before. So if there is a wedding, whatever event is on the selected day has, like, obviously discretion on how they want to use that
Sure.
time. So let's say it's a 2 o'clock arrival time we would do the rehearsal no later than 1 o'clock for the
That
party
makes
the next
sense.
day. So.
Okay. But it wouldn't interfere with someone else's.
We have
Okay.
whoever rented that day has exclusive use of the property at that time. There won't be
Perfect.
any random strangers or
Yeah.
again, even not strangers, but anyone that shouldn't be there.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
People that are not invited
to that
or
event.
part of the staff.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Yeah, even though we have such a large property, it is just one wedding per day. We like to have our focus, and then again for our couples to be able to have exclusive use and just feel really comfortable in the entire space.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah,
Liquor license.
yes.
Is there a difference between beer and wine versus hard alcohol?
Yeah, so, yes. So
Or whatever the word is?
yeah, liquor, yeah.
Mixed drinks?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, we have, what is called a full liquor license. So we
Okay.
have the ability to do beer, wine, and cocktails of any variety,
Perfect.
as well as all of the non-alcoholic beverages too. So, oftentimes venues in Washington State can get a beer and wine license, but the liquor, you kind of have to go through a few more regulations to be able to get that approval, and we have it. So.
And you have people there that are able to do those services.
Yes, yep. So, in addition to like our catering and the beverage, we do have some phenomenal bartenders and mixologists. So they can again do if you have a recipe that you're really wanting to have made, and they'll make it to the T, or if you want something created just for your party, or again we have a really already built beautiful, especially cocktail list. So yes, we have the servers and the mixologists on site.
This is just like the total package.
Yeah, it's intended to be. I mean, that's really is our hope. It's just you want. There's so many things in the build up to a wedding day that comes into play that again, when it comes to that day, you just want it to be able to enjoy every moment of it and not worried about that, we need another bottle of red wine or we need, like I said, it's all seamless and we have it all taken care of for you.
Yes.
So.
Well, and I don't know how many brides I have seen where they're like, oh, we need to go to Costco and get all of the liquor or different things like that. And everybody's different. And if you want to do that, go for it. But to be able to have somebody say, we have your food covered, we have the location, tables, chairs. And did you say you have decor?
Yes. Oh, our decor catalog is a big feature in that it's actually my coordinators have been working on redoing the catalog because it's so robust and trying to inventory how many items and different combinations. And so, yes, our decor catalog is not just centerpieces, although there's, I think, over 30 different varieties of centerpieces, but aisle decor, archway decor, head table decor, extra things for the bar or the different signs and different things like that.
And is that something that you guys set up?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We take care of all of that setup and tear down.
Okay. Well,
yeah, to the client's specification too. So
I need to be like, honey, we're getting married again.
Anniversary party.
Anniversary party.
Yes.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
I would love that. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, maybe year 20. We'll do that.
There you go.
7 years. 7 years. We'll do that.
Let the countdown begin.
Let the countdown begin. We'll start planning now because that's how much time I would need.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I want to transition a little bit to advice that you'd give brides kind of looking for a vendor in this industry. Are there things that they should be doing, should not be doing when looking for a venue?
Oh, for a venue, I think the key is really knowing, how important is a specific date to you? How important is a specific aesthetic? And that once you've kind of gone through that filter, it really, I think, takes an immense amount of amazing venues and helps filter it down to a few that might be the perfect fit. Because availability is obviously key, and then they accommodate the party size that we need. So I think knowing that early on in the decision process, even if it's not necessarily an exact date, but we know we want June 2025, and then the venue can see if they even have anything available at that time. Or again, guest count. Like I said, with my wedding, I was hoping for 75, but we invited over 300 and landed at 205. So knowing a little bit about the range, so that, again, it can kind of filter out those that you're like, okay, well, we're just not going to fit at that venue. So we need to look at ones that actually will work with all the people that we want to bring in.
Absolutely.
And I think, besides maybe obvious logistics of what you need in a venue space, I think finding a team of people, whether a venue or makeup artist or photographer, videographer, whoever, it's people that you genuinely connect with and enjoy being around, because this is a day that is so special. It's all about, love, and you want to be working with people who are supporting that and who are there that you enjoy their presence.
Yes.
I think so easily it can be, like, oh, you'll hear something like, well, we're not really connecting with whichever vendor, and you're kind of stuck with them. Well, it's like, well, maybe, doing some of that vetting process initially, just to make sure it's, again, you're surrounded by everyone that you enjoy being around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and some personalities, when it comes to vendor spaces, are more important than others.
yes.
Like, you probably don't need to like your caterer's personality as much
it's
as you do your hair and makeyp person and
who's intimately
and
working
your
alongside of
photographer.
you. Yes,
like
I
if you
agree.
don't like those people, you've got a long day, sister.
That's very true. Very, very true.
Yeah.
I would say DJ is another big one too, because not
Yes.
only are you working with them, but their entire personality is broadcasted.
Oh, it's so important.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was another question in my brain and I'm like, dang it. What was it? Oh, it was, I know there are other types of vendors. Like I've seen people bring in cotton candy or different things like that. Is that something that is allowed? Okay.
For the most part, yeah. So we do all the on-site food and beverage, but there are obviously wedding cake, other dessert alternatives, fun like snack bar type stuff.
Yeah.
But by all means, like we're not trying to prohibit, the I don't know, those fun elements, but the primary food and beverage would be through us.
Okay.
So, but
that
we've
makes
had a really cute gelato cart. We've had coffee stands. We've had all sorts of other different vendors that can add to the day.
Yes.
So that's all welcome.
My sister did a coffee stand at her wedding, and it was an evening wedding. So they did a lot of just like really beautiful coffees and things like that. And it just added such a nice touch.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. And then if you're someone who really wants the dance floor to keep, thriving, a little bit of caffeine never hurts.
A little bit of caffeine, a little bit of alcohol. That'll keep things going. 2 a.m. What's 2 a.m.? I don't know.
We can make it.
We can make it. That'll be fine.
Sure.
Well, and you married your husband at the estate, right?
Yes.
In 2019. Is there anything that you would have done differently during your wedding day?
So it was actually 2017. I was like rethinking, like, wait, how long have we
really?
been married?
I wrote down what you wrote down.
But it was, I guess as far as what we would have done differently, I think when we think back about our wedding, like it's such fond memories. I think that it was such a unique time, gathering all of the people. We never will be able to do that again. That's just a unique. So for so many reasons, like I think everything went so perfectly. And again, it was a wonderful day. If you're getting really nitpicky, because I was thinking about this question in advance, and we had a traditional Italian dance called the tarantella. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's kind of a very like kind of folksy a dance, and we had wanted to get everyone to get to the dance floor first before the music starts playing, because it's a little bit choreographed. And our DJ, who was amazing, I didn't tell them specifically to wait until everyone was in position, and so it's a little bit of a chaotic circle transition, and so it ended up being a little bit more chaotic, but everyone, again, not very many people know how to do the tarantella to start with, so it was chaotic for that reason, and maybe having that music start a little bit too early. So but ultimately, I think you marry the person you love. There might be a few things that you would tweak here and there, but as long as you're with your person, it's amazing. So,
it is. Well, and those things that go quote unquote wrong sometimes are those funny stories that you tell afterwards. And you're like, remember when this happened? Oh my goodness, I can't, and it kind of just gives some lightness to the day. And unless you're wanting, a very stoic, put together atmosphere.
Right.
But even like my husband and I look back at our wedding, and we had our colors were like a burgundy, which was really pretty, but then kind of like a yellow gold. And I look back and I'm like, the bridesmaids' dresses against the groomsmen's red, it looked like a McDonald's campaign. And we're like, oh no, like, what did we do? And just those things. And even the style of the dresses and things like that, where I'm like, my wedding, if I were to redo the whole thing, would be a complete 180 of what I liked when I was 23.
Yeah.
But that's just how life goes.
Absolutely. Your style, your aesthetic, it changes.
Yes. So even if something little goes wrong, chances are 10, 15, 20 years, you're going to go back and go, my tastes have changed anyways. But it was still a great day.
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about the bridal process. If once they reach out to you, kind of what's a little bit of the next step?
Yeah. So usually someone reaches out, we provide information. We like to be very upfront as far as like
Hmm.
what's included, pricing, catering menus, so that way people can kind of see if it feels like the right fit. But we
Hmm.
always love and recommend coming out and booking a tour with our coordinators who can walk you throughout the property and
Mm,
really see how the space would work with what they're visioning, and then a custom package is then created based on preferences.
perfect. I love that.
Yeah,
Being able to give brides the information up front is really important.
I agree.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming in today. Where can brides find Commellini online?
Yeah, at just commellini.com. That's where we have most everything and all of our contact information. So,
Perfect. Well,
yeah.
thank you, Desiree. I
Thank you
appreciate you
so
coming
much
out.
for having me.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Talk Bridal to Me. I hope you have a day where you truly feel beautiful. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.